Hello friends, welcome back. In our previous discussion, we talked about group leadership and what is group leadership, features of group leadership. Most importantly, we focused on the discussion about the contingency models of leadership, and we discussed in continuation with Fiedler's model of leadership. Today, I will continue with another models of contingency models of leadership, that is path goal theory. It is also known as path goal theory of leader effectiveness or path goal model of leadership, and it is a leadership developed by Robert House in 1971 and it was again revised by House itself in 1996. So, some modifications were there that has taken place after revision. So, we will discuss this theory accordingly. So, if I talk about this model of leadership, it is about that how an effective leader identifies the path to help their followers reach their goal from where they start and where they can reach, and at the same time tries to reduce all the pitfalls and roadblocks while achieving the goal or reaching the target. So, the path goal term which has been given particularly or used particularly in this theory is that it is derived from the belief that effective leaders clarify or crave the path to help the followers to get there from where they are and the achievement of their work goals, and make the journey easier by removing all the roadblocks and pitfalls. That is the idea behind path goal theory of leadership. So, in a sense, it has been derived from this theory that the leader's job is to assist the followers in attaining their goals, provide direction and support to the followers, and wherever needed the goal should be accomplished while maintaining the compatibility with the overall objectives of the group or the organization. It is not that the effectiveness is measured that to what extent the leader is actually helping or assisting employees or followers to achieve their goals. Rather, the leadership is effectiveness in this model when the leader tries to maintain the compatibility between the individual goals of the followers and the group goal or organizational goals. So, according to path goal theory, there are two perspectives that has been considered. The first is the acceptability and the other is the motivational perspective of leader. So, if we talk about the acceptable perspective of this theory is that a leader's behavior is acceptable if the subordinates agree that the leader is the immediate source of satisfaction or as a means of future satisfaction. That means the leader is providing all the support and resources to the followers to achieve their goal, and it is leading, consequently it is leading to the satisfaction of the followers. It is not completely based on the productive aspect of the leadership. That means the leader behavior is also focusing on the satisfaction of the employees, and the other is the leader's behavior is motivational to the degree that it makes subordinate need satisfactory contingent on effective performance. That means providing all the support and resources and allocation of resources in a way that the employees are also satisfied, and at the same time their performance is effective, the followers performance is effective. It is both the ways. That means the task is also achieved, and at the same time the followers needs are also considered at the same time. And the other is that the leader provides the coaching, guidance, support and rewards that are necessary for effective performance. That means even after allocation of resources, utilization of resources along with the consideration of the followers needs, the performance of the follower is also being recognized or rewarded. So, along with support comes the coaching, that means craving path for the employees to achieve their goals or maintain compatibility between the followers goals and the organizational goals, and also recognizing the performance, the effective performances of the followers. So, this is the idea behind the contingency models of leadership based on path goal theory, that motivational aspect and at the same time the acceptability of the behavior of the leader is also plays a very important role when it comes to achieving organizational goals. Since we are talking about the acceptable aspect and motivational aspect of leadership, House has also identified 4 leadership behaviors that under what condition or these behaviors which are contingent upon the conditions, so that the leader's behavior is also acceptable and the motivational aspect also is maintained at the same time. So, the 4 leadership behaviors that has been identified by House are the directive leader, the achievement oriented leader behavior, the participative leader behavior and the supportive leader behavior. That means under which circumstances which kind of leadership is contingent upon to achieve the group goals. So, the first is the directive leader. The directive leader lets subordinate knows what is expected from them, schedules work to be done and gives specific guidance on how to accomplish the task. That means all the detailed directives that what task and how the task has to be performed is being given by the leader. That means the leader takes the hold. At the same time, along with the support and guidance, the leader also maintains his behavior and at the same time, so that the acceptability is high and at the same time the motivation aspect is also maintained. The other is the achievement oriented leader behavior. The achievement oriented leader behavior sets challenging goals and expects subordinates to perform at the highest level. In a state of emergency or some emergent requirement, the leader can set challenging goals to accomplish from the followers and how the leader takes charge that how the goal has to be achieved. That means the roadmap is being provided by the leader and at the same time the motivation level is also high of the followers. So, in this kind of situations the achievement oriented leader behavior is very dominant in a particular situation. Ultimately, when leadership is contingent upon the situation, but in this theory acceptability of the behavior of leader and motivational aspect of the leader behavior has to be maintained, which is the crust of this theory. The other is participative leader behavior. The participative leader consults with subordinates and use their suggestions before making a decision. That means the leader takes the decision, makes the decision that what step has to be initiated to accomplish the goal, but the members or the followers are also participating in decision making process. But the idea is that when the members are being allowed to voice their opinions or voice their suggestions and alternatives to the solutions to the problem in the workplace, then at that kind of situation the employees or the followers are also motivated. So, when they are motivated, definitely they accept the behavior of the leader. So, this is the situation when participative leader behavior is very dominant in a particular situation. And the last is the supportive leader. The supportive leader is friendly and shows concern for the needs of subordinates. Motivation definitely will be high when the needs are being concerned, are of major concern by for the leader, and the compatibility that a leader creates between leader and the follower, that calls for maintaining the two perspectives of acceptability of the leader behavior and motivation of the followers. So, this is how the 4 leadership style has been identified contingent upon the situation by House, and how various perspectives can be maintained so that the organizational goals are also maintained and at the same time the followers goals are also maintained. This is the one aspect that we have discussed right now, that how motivation and acceptability has been considered while identifying the 4 types of leadership as per the situation. Extending the same theory, House has also identified 2 contingent variables that moderates the leader behavior outcome relationship. Acceptability and motivation can only be maintained when 2 moderating variables are also existing at the same time. That means the environment and the followers' personal characteristics. Now, these 2 contingent variables are the variables which do exist in any kind of environment, in any kind of situation, and these two variables are contingent variables, are the variables which we cannot control at all. We cannot control the environment, whatever the environment we have, maybe it is a subtle environment, maybe it is an emergency situation. We cannot control that situation, and we have to function in the same environment while adapting to it. And the other is followers' personal characteristics. Personality we can never change, we can only understand. So, when these two factors exist in any environment, then it moderates the relationship between the leader and the follower. That means, acceptability and motivation can only be maintained when these two factors are also existing at the same time. So, if we talk about the environment as a contingent variable by the house, then this variable is outside the control of the leader. It is also outside the control of the followers as well, such as task structure, formal authority system and work group. Whatever is the system that has been established to function in the organization, that cannot be altered. Every time the situation only can change, be it is a cutthroat competition, be it any financial crisis, or be it any other competitive edge at which the organization is standing. So, these type of situations cannot be controlled. Any task has to be performed on a basis of a set of rules only, that how a procedure has to be followed to perform the task. So, we cannot control these factors. Even the work groups, how the work groups has been formulated to achieve a common goal. It can be in form of team, it can be in form of groups, or it can be a group of people where specific people are holding specific expertise to perform the task. So, when all these factors come together, then actually the environment becomes very rigid, because we need those factors to perform the task, and at the same time we have to adapt those factors so that the task can be accomplished. So, environment is the main factor which is uncontrollable based on task structure, formal authority, system or work group, and at the same time a type of leader behavior is required where the outcome can be maximized. That means, based on the typical task structure, formal authority system only, we have to get maximum outcome. This is one contingent variable that is uncontrollable by the leader and the follower. The other is followers' personal characteristics, that what is the personality of each and every group member or team member, that also we cannot control. We cannot think of hiring or including members in a group or team where all the members have the similar personality characteristics, that is next to impossible. But yes, when so much of diversity exists, then also it becomes uncontrollable. How to maintain that diversity and getting maximum output out of that diverse personal characteristics of the members, that highlights the competency of a leader to identify a particular leadership style as per the situation and personal characteristics of the members. So, this includes personal characteristics such as locus of control, that is a strong belief of an individual that he or she control the events. People have this assessment of their own behavior that I can control the environment, that is internal locus of control. Sometimes people have this belief about themselves that their life or events is controlled by the external factors. He or she is not responsible for whatever is happening in his or her life. That is external locus of control. So, if any follower who has the locus of control, that is high internal locus of control, or they have so much of influence on other person, or they have different kind of experiences based on their ability, then these kind of factors cannot be controlled, but these can only be determined and controlled by adopting a specific leadership style. So, this contingent variable is again uncontrollable. So, we can say that internal locus of control or influence or experience and perceived ability, these factors actually determine how the environment and leader are interpreted. When these two factors are being considered as controllable and at the same time ubiquitous, that means these factors will be continuously present in the environment in every organization, then the leader member relationship can be established while identifying a particular kind of leadership style. So, this is how these two environment factors can be moderated to determine the leader follower relationship. So, we can say that the effective leader can clarify the path to help the followers achieve goals and make the journey easier by reducing roadblocks and pitfalls, and at the same time employee performance and satisfaction are positively influenced when leader compensates for the shortcomings in either the employee or the working setting. That means environment or follower. Any dominant factor can be determined and then the leader behavior can be interpreted so that the leader member behavior can be established. So, based on these 4 leadership styles, that is the directive, the achievement oriented, participative and supportive leader behavior, then these 4 leadership styles can be determined by environment and followers' personal characteristics. Now, if I again go back to the discussion, I will also consider that if that moderation has been performed between environment and personal characteristics of the follower, then defining a particular leadership style will actually help to satisfy two perspectives again. The leader behavior is acceptable or not, and at the same time the leader behavior is motivational or not. So, ultimately these two factors, the acceptability perspectives, basically the acceptability of the leader behavior and motivational aspect of leader behavior can only be maintained when environment and personal characteristics of the follower are being moderated based on the interpretation of leadership style. So, this can be understood based on this diagram, that environmental contingency factors, which includes task structure, formal authority system and work group, and subordinate contingency factors such as locus of control and perceived ability. These two factors, when are being considered or moderated, this actually establish or determine the relationship between leader behavior and the performance outcome of the followers. So, we will move on to the next theory, that is leader participation model. But at the same time, if I continue my discussion based on this diagram, then every leadership style also has its own significance. Based on the situation, which leadership style will lead to what kind of outcome and situation has also been identified by the house. The first is the directive leadership, which leads to greater satisfaction when tasks are ambiguous or stressful than when they are highly structured and well laid out. That means directive leadership is extremely useful when and very satisfying for the followers when the tasks are ambiguous, and as soon as the follower receive a very defined directive by the leader, then automatically it leads to satisfaction and high performance. If supportive leadership has been implemented in a particular situation, then automatically it leads to high performance and satisfaction, and they used to perform a structured task even when the task is very difficult to perform. If supportive leadership has been adopted by the leader, then the performance is high and satisfying. Again, directive leadership is likely to be redundant among subordinates with high ability or with considerable experience. That means, if the locus of control is very high, under such circumstances directive leadership fails to function. Rather, it will enhance or calls for participative leadership style, where members are free to participate in decision making and perform on their own. The other impact is that the more the formal authority is clear and bureaucratic, that means when the formal authority system is very much clear, then the leader should exhibit supportive behavior and de-emphasize directive behavior. That means, if the environment is very controlling, the formal authorities are very imposing, under such circumstances the leader should adopt a supportive behavior and de-emphasize, rather directing or redirecting the focus from directive behavior to supportive behavior. Again, directive leadership will lead to high employee satisfaction when there is substantial conflict within a work group. Definitely, when members are all together to work towards the common goal, but if there is conflict of interest among all the members and members fail to cooperate or coordinate the task structure or task of the employees, under such circumstances directive leadership plays very important role, because detailed directives are provided to the followers, which leads to performance of task performance and at the same time high level of satisfaction, because there is more role clarity. The other is subordinates with an internal locus of control will be more satisfied with the participative style. When they are more confident about their own abilities and experience, then they prefer to perform better under participative leadership style. And the other is that achievement oriented leadership will increase subordinates expectations that effort will lead to high performance when tasks are ambiguously structured. That means, whenever any challenge is been encountered by the organization and the role clarity is very much diminished, that means people do not understand that how they have to face that emergent situation. Under such circumstances, all the challenging situation are being controlled by achievement oriented leadership. That means, detailed directives are also there, challenge is also there and motivation is also there, so that the task which is very much not clear or ambiguous offers more clarity to perform. So, we can say that this path goal theory is useful because it reminds leaders that their central purpose as a leader is to help subordinates define and reach their goals in an efficient manner. No doubt, every theory of leadership aims to achieve effectiveness of the performance, satisfaction and achievement. But the idea about this discussion is that whenever we are talking about any new leadership style or model, there are always consideration about the environment or some or the other factors which can enhance the leadership style and performance. If we talk about Fiedler's model of leadership, then definitely the aim is similar. Even if we talk about path goal theory of leadership, the aim is common, but the difference is that in every theoretical background, the focus is very different of the propounders. In Fiedler's model, it is through the development of least preferred co-worker questionnaire, and again in path goal leadership, there is again the focus is on leaders' behavior, on the environment and leadership style as well. That means, situational factors is a constant factor in leadership behavior when we are talking about organizational goals. So, this is one more theory that we have covered as the contingency model of leadership. Next comes another theory that is leader participation model, which we will discuss in the next class. Thank you so much.